Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to look at Our Army at War, number 205, featuring Sergeant Rock. This is a very special issue featuring the most unusual battle sagas of World War II. What they don't mention is that they all involve animals in the field of combat, fighting the Axis. There's dogs, cats, elephants, all fighting the Axis powers. Start off with a typically great Joe Kubert cover. And this is a weird one because this has nothing to do with what's inside this comic. There's no story in this where Sergeant Rock is blind and he needs this mangy cur to guide him. But in fact, Sergeant Rock's not even in this comic except as a framing device. There's like a one-page framing device for all these reprints. That's what this basically is. It's a fill-in issue. I don't know if they ran into deadline problems or they just wanted to save money, but these are mostly all reprints. Very typical Sergeant Rock cover where the viewer knows something that the character doesn't. And he's like, what are you whining for, pup? It's Easy Company, isn't it? But no, it's a bunch of Nazis. So, but this one's even weirder than most of the covers are goofy because it has nothing to do with this comic. So we do get a one-page Joe Kubert framing device here. And Sergeant Rock is talking to some of his soldiers and said, let me tell you some stories that'll curl your hair about combat. God, I love Joe Kubert. He's so good. I guess we get one little panel up here too by Joe Kubert. And then we go into the reprints. Medal for a War Dog. And this is written by Robert Kanigher, penciled by Ross Andrew, and inked by Mike Esposito. And as you can see, this features a dog as the main character. This is from like 1955. It's a reprint. So basically, we start off at the Pacific Theater, and this private, Phil Brown, is getting a medal, but he seems really shaken, and he actually starts crying, and he says, I can't accept this medal if Andy can't accept the medal as well. And we'll find out who Andy is in a second. So now we flash back to his heroic mission that earned him the medal. So he's a machine gunner, Brown. And he was out with his ammo guy, Hank Anderson. I guess this guy just carries the ammo. And Andy, this very cute dog. He's from the Canine Corps. So Andy's a pretty amazing dog. He's there to sniff out the snipers because they can't see the snipers in the trees, but he could sniff them out. So Andy sniffs out a sniper. And not only does he sniff out the sniper and alert these guys, I got to stop saying sniff out the sniper. Not only does he alert these guys that there's a sniper, he knocks Brown over and saves his life. Basically knocks him out of the bullet, the gunfire. And so these guys dig down into the bush and they're like, Andy, find the sniper so we can get a beat on him. So Andy runs up to the tree and jumps up and down to let them know that the sniper's there. And the sniper starts shooting at the dog. But that gives away his position. So the American soldiers get the sniper and kill him. Then a tank shows up. And Brown is pinned down, so he can't really throw his grenades well. He keeps missing. And so Andy runs out, and just like he's playing with a little rubber ball, he starts nudging the hand grenade over to the tank. And the hand grenade goes right under the tank and blows it up. Cripples the tank, and so the two American soldiers can go up and finish off the guys inside by shooting into the view slits. And then as they get to this river, they start getting a mortar fire. And Brown and Anderson get separated, the ammo guy. So he says, Andy, go find Hank Anderson. See what's up here. And so right then the enemies start crossing the river, coming right towards him. So sorry. Ooh, I need some water. Give me a sec. And he's got no ammo. He doesn't have one bullet. And then right then, Andy shows up with a belt of bullets on his back and a note from Hank. I guess Hank got injured, and he's hiding in a bush. Right then, Brown gets shot by a bullet in his helmet. It doesn't wound him, but it rattles his brain so much that he can't see. He's temporarily blind. But then Andy starts pawing at him and nudging him, and basically tells him yeah, fire the machine gun and I'll nudge it. So it kills the enemy. He's totally blind and the dog is aiming for him. This is I don't think any dog could do that, no matter how smart. So he basically holds off the enemy until reinforcements arrive and they mop up the enemy. And now we come back to the ceremony where he's getting his medal. And, Brown is once again saying, Andy's the one who deserves the medal. And then all of a sudden, Andy shows up. Brown thought he was dead or lost in battle, MIA. And not only is Andy okay, but he found Hank Anderson hiding in the bushes. And then they both received their medal. Oh, I love dog stories. We have this is new, I think, a battle album page. They had these in all the DC War comics. They're just trivia about the military. Beautiful Joe Kubert drawing. This is, I guess in World War I, the French African chasseurs were vital to the success of many battles. It's so interesting how these empirical powers back in World War I, they, the people that they exploited, they would fight for them in wars and do very well. It's just kind of strange. It'd be defending your overlords. It's interesting in these ads. There's a bunch of ads for DC Comics. And I swear to God, the ratio is 4 out of 5 are drawn by Neil Adams. They knew how good Neil Adams was. It seems like they made him do the majority of covers back then. So this one's The Tank with a Memory. And this is drawn by Russ Heath. But this is from 1955. So Russ Heath is damn good, but he's not at his full powers yet, like he would be in the 60s and 70s. But this is damn good stuff. This is I think Russ Heath was one of the best cartoonists of the Golden Age, the late Golden Age. I love the colors too. So basically we see this soldier, and his name's Al Thompson. He's a combat engineer. There's other soldiers talking about elephants. I guess sometimes they use elephants as beasts of burden, almost like bulldozers, or, they lug things for people. So this other soldier is telling Thompson, he's yeah, an elephant never forgets. And Thompson's all oh, that's just some old saying. That's bullshit. He doesn't believe it. So Thompson and a bunch of other guys are on a mission through the jungle. And a sniper attacks. I love this panel here where they get a bead on the sniper in a tree and they get down on their backs and fire up. It's just a great little panel right there. God, I fucking love Russ Heath. So good. So these guys continue to argue about the elephant thing. And so I guess Thompson gets separated from the rest of his platoon. That's a great panel right there. Look how well he draws elephants too. Russ Heath could draw anything. He was really just facile at that. And Thompson comes upon this elephant stuck in a bog. It's like quicksand. So he puts some tree trunks, shoves them down there so the elephant can get traction and escape. And so then the elephant starts following him around like a puppy dog. The guy keeps trying to get rid of him. He's like, "You're going to make too much noise. You're going to give me away." So he basically runs away, hoping the elephant won't be able to catch up to him. And then he's climbing up this tree to get the lay of the land, and he sees this village full of the enemy. The enemy have taken over. All of a sudden, the elephant starts nudging the tree, almost like, hey, you, come on, get on my back. And he gets on the elephant's back and he realizes, wow, this is like having my own tank. Just like Hannibal used against the Roman legions. I could take this village with this elephant. So that's just what he does. The elephant storms through the wall, the stockade wall. The enemy are all firing at him. He knocks over this gun tower. I guess the elephant has a grudge against these guys. They abused him when he was their work animal. He seems to remember these enemy soldiers. And then he totally takes out all the enemy with the help of Jumbo. And then he comes out of the woods, the jungle, returns to his platoon. And of course, he's changed his tune about elephants. He's like, yeah, I didn't know how to find my way back, but Jumbo remembered that he used to work here. Here's a battle album page. This is talking about how dolphins are now being used by the military. I guess this was probably right around the time Day of the Dolphin came out. And so that was kind of like people were talking about that. I forgot to mention this comic came out in 1969, even though almost everything in it is from the mid-50s. And here we have Battle Zoo, which I think this one's written by Ed Herron, or it might have been the one before, but either way, it's drawn by Joe Kubert, a very young Joe Kubert. Actually, not that young. He'd already been in the business probably for 10 years at this point. But it doesn't look like the, classic 60s, 70s Joe Kubert yet. And this one's called Battle Zoo. And this is about a soldier named Hank Adams, who loves animals. He's always giving his rations to stray puppies and kittens, even birds. And so we see how in all these incidences, he takes in a stray, and then these enemy soldiers come up. But the dog basically runs out like a decoy. And so these enemy soldiers are all shooting at the dog. It's diverting their attention. And this allows Hank to clean him up and shoot him. So, of course, he gives this dog all of his rations. He says, "You've earned it, pup." Then later on, he finds this poor little kitten, a cat, lost, kind of stuck on this log in the river. And so he swims over to rescue it. But then right then he sees enemies. He sees a nest, an enemy nest. And they see the log and start shooting at it. But I guess the cat distracts them. And so they don't see him lob this grenade. And he totally takes him out. Man, I love this panel. The great, very Kurtzman-like lettering. EC War comic lettering. So he's like, "Eat up, kitten. You totally saved my ass back there." Gives him his rations. Then he sees this wounded bird. And she returns him to his nest. And in doing so, he looks down and he sees this, the enemy setting up a field piece, a big cannon. And the branch starts creaking though, so the enemy looks up. And then the bird, right then takes to wing. And I guess the guys are distracted by the bird. They don't quite see Hank yet. And that gives him enough time to lob another grenade. There's more of that great color printing on this cheap newsprint. You just can't duplicate that in the reprints. And so later on, he's back with his platoon, and his sergeant says, "Looks like you got an audience. Who are they?" "My support, sir." So they're like his allies. Oh, that's a cute story. I like seeing this young Joe Kubert. It's way more cartoony, like his face there. And then we got the letter page. And that's it for Army at War number 205. Hope you guys enjoyed looking at these. I definitely want to do more of these, like, I don't know, every like 6 months or so. Because I have a big stack of Sergeant Rock, and I have such a soft spot for these comics. I think I mentioned this last time we looked at one of these where I hated these comics as a kid. And then in like my mid-20s or 30s, I started picking them up. Mainly because the artistry of Joe Kubert and Heath. But I just love these comics. Something about Robert Kanigher's repetitive writing. I just love them. So I hope you guys don't mind me looking at these every now and then. But war comics weren't very popular. And but I love them. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. And I hope to see you next time here at the Herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.